Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 66. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, the Zach Ertz to my Nick Foles, Mr. Jason Solanas.
I don't know what you're saying right there, but anyways, I found websites that will translate any sentence to Shakespearean English. Elizabeth wishes to square, raiseth thy fist for hurly-burly, wench. That's Shakespeare's doing, not mine.
That's not going over well.
That's not going over well. She's just making a face.
If you're craving even more Cigar City Radio, and I'm sure you are, just like Jason is. Jason's always got these cravings. He's craving something, right?
Yeah, give me some Cigar City Radio in my ear orifice.
If you want more, you can find all our episodes on iTunes / Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Stitcher, basically on every major podcasting platform. Just search Cigar City Radio. You'll probably find us. You can also find us, of course, direct at our website, cigarcityradio.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Cigar City Radio.
I can't wait for my Cigar City Radio thirst to be quenched.
Oh, we'll quench some thirst. That's happening.
That's what we do.
That all we do is quench thirst. Our guest on this episode is G Love, the frontman for the band G Love and the Special Sauce. He is a native of Philadelphia, and we talked to him a few days after the Philadelphia Eagles had won the Super Bowl, so he was in good spirits. This is also a unique episode for us because it's the first time we've actually done a phone interview on the show rather than having the artist come in and talk to us directly. Obviously, we would have loved to have sat down with G Love for an extended period, but because of the Super Bowl and his travel plans and everything else that he has going on, it just wasn't possible. But we still wanted to talk to him, and we all, love and admire his music, so we wanted to bring you the interview regardless of whether we could physically be in the same room as him. So this is our first ever phone interview. I actually thought it'd be a little awkward because talking on the phone can be awkward at times, but G Love is such a cool guy that it really wasn't awkward at all. I thought we could have probably talked to him for a while longer. We actually could have talked to him for a while longer because, as you'll hear towards the end of the episode, I don't know if he lost service or his phone died or something, but that's kind of the issue with the phone. We lost him right towards the end. It was getting good, but we tried to call him back, was unable to. He eventually did call us back, but by the time he did, we had left the studio and we were kind of wrapped up for the day. So hopefully we'll work out the kinks for future phone interviews. If it's something you guys like, let us know on Twitter or Facebook. If you want to hear more phone interviews, or if you want us to stick with getting people in the room and locking them in with us and not ever letting them leave, which is obviously what we prefer. So here it is. Episode 66. What do I call you? Do I call you Garrett? Do I call you G Love? How does this work?
Either one.
Either one. I'll just go with G Love. I'll just go with G Love. So, all right. So we are recording. We're in Tampa right now. Where are you calling from, or where are we talking to you from?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. So not too far. Playing tomorrow night at Janice Landing or Janice Live here in the area. Looking forward to that show, part of the Glass 25 tour. That's awesome. So 25 years of G Love. How did that happen?
Shoot, I don't know, man, but it's been a hell of a ride. We're pretty stoked. It's just a testament to the fans out there and all the support and love we got coast to coast and around the world to keep this thing going and keep bringing our music out every night and make people happy and inspired,
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I should back up a minute, though, because the real story here is a few days ago, a certain team won the Super Bowl. And I know you're from Philly. Just one look at your Instagram, I know you're a big Eagles fan. So how stoked are you right now that the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl?
Oh man, I'm so stoked, man. Like, I've just been in the gym watching the parade all day. In Philadelphia, like 3 million people, are marching in the streets in Philly, and a lot of players gave real, inspired, like, talks from the podium there at the Arch. And it's just, man, as a born and raised in Philly and such a long time fan my whole life, my father and I. And it's funny because now I live in Boston. I've had to I'm still a hardcore Philadelphia sports fan, and so I'm always living up there, watching all the success that their teams have had over the years. And yeah, it just feels so sweet to get a taste of it in Philadelphia and just to see everybody in Philly just so pumped up. It's just great for the city. It's great for NFL. And it really does. The team was underdogs, and it's so much the spirit of the city. Everybody has adopted the mythological character Rocky as like the kind of the person that characterizes the fighting spirit of Philly. And we felt that a lot, like in our music. Like always, that everything's always kind of been stacked against us, but we felt like underdogs our career, so I certainly can relate. And it's just a wonderful moment for us. So I think it's going to be the start of a new era. It's just wonderful, man. I just can't tell you how excited I am.
So did you go back to Philly to watch this game? Like, did you take part in did you climb up any street lights, I guess is what I'm asking?
I was I was in Philadelphia. Well, it's funny because I played Boston on Friday night, and then we played Philadelphia on Saturday night, the night before the Super Bowl. We started our set with the Fly Eagles Fly fight song, and it was a crazy night in Philly. And then actually I woke up on Sunday and flew home to Boston to be with my family and watch the game up there. So we had a little Super Bowl family gathering at my house, and we were just freaking out, man. It was just, it was amazing.
That's awesome, man. There's nothing like your team winning a championship and winning a Super Bowl like that, and especially for Eagles fans that have been suffering for so long through the Chip Kelly regime and everything. It's like finally finally a victory. So, but that's cool that you seem to have a really great relationship with your family, and I know that you have a young son, right? That so what's it like to kind of balance being a father with being on the road and all the tour dates that you do?
Yeah, well, I have a 16-year-old and a 1-year-old, and so it's been a trip having a little baby again, and it's great. I mean, being a father is like the greatest gift that you can ask for in life, and it is a balance. Like for my older son, and now for my younger son, like I'll be away I try not to be away for more than a couple weeks at a time without seeing either of my boys. But that's the tough part about having a dream job as a professional musician. Just the time away from home. I mean, it's tough on the relationships. It's tough on the family. And I think for the kids, like they understand it.
Yeah,
that's what Dad does, and there's.
And your older son plays drums, right? Like he's a drummer himself.
The other side of it is when I'm home, when I'm on the road for a month or whatever, but when I'm home, I'm off. I'm off for a couple weeks. So I do have a lot of downtime and good quality time, family time. So, it is what it is. But yeah, it's a balancing act for sure.
That's really cool to hear you say that too, because I feel like you especially, compared to a lot of musicians, you do a lot of different projects and different collaborations, and it seems like you're always working on something. So to hear you say that you have downtime, like how do you even find the time to have downtime, you know?
Yeah, I mean, people ask, what do you do when you're not playing music? Well, I'm usually playing music or I'm surfing.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I definitely try to, I think a lot of, the success of the band is the work ethic that we have and the ability to really want to get out there and, connect with people every night and bring that love. So, again, it's just, but you gotta rest. You have to take your rest and kind of rejuvenate and take those times at home when you can be creative in a different way, in a more like subtle way and alone. Cause the music's funny. Cause like a lot of it is a time when you're in front of a lot of people or you're with, a unit of people making music on stage, but then there's a lot of it has to be done in solitude to really be able to write effectively and come up with new and inspired material. So, getting out there and giving it up and going home and recharging.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the way of every job. That's kind of the way to do it, right? Is you gotta find the yin to that yang, So, so I'm curious how a kid from Philly got so into surfing.
Yeah, well, the Jersey Shore is like an hour away from Philadelphia.
Sure, yeah. So is there good surfing on the Jersey Shore? I've never heard that.
It's it's East Coast, but just like Florida, we get good waves. And it's not as consistent as the West Coast, but actually, the East Coast produces some of the great surfers. Obviously, Kelly Slater, and I always do think about East Coast surfers. They're some of the best surfers because they know how to surf on really crappy waves, and then they can take that and surf on some of the best waves in the world too. So,
that's a good point.
Just through hanging out with, I've surfed my whole life, but definitely since making a connection with Jack Johnson in the late 90s and getting to meet all his friends, Kelly and, all the top pros, I've gotten to surf with some of the best surfers in the world and get pointers from them and surfing some of the most amazing waves in the world. So I'm still a cook, but definitely keep good company in the water.
No, that sounds like great company. I mean, going surfing with Jack Johnson and Kelly Slater, like that sounds like quite the time.
Yeah, there's been some pretty cool moments. Like one time, actually it was a pretty special day. Like I was on tour in Australia and I had with Jack actually, I had the day off for the big show in Melbourne. So I rented a car, drove out to Turkey, and Kelly and I went and surfed, just the two of us, like surfing alone on this one break. And I actually broke my board and then I actually used one of his boards that he was going to use the next day in the Rip Curl Pro, which he won at Bells Beach. So it was pretty cool. I'll never forget. It was a break called Winky Pop. And there's a lot of times like that where I just have, take myself just, especially with Kelly, because, growing up, we're the same exact age. So I grew up, looking at him since he was, 9 years old in the surfer magazines. And it's great to have become friends with these guys. And they're a great group of guys and just tremendous athletes. I mean, you forget it when you're hanging out, but then, God, you see what these guys pull off and then the kind of life and death situations they put themselves into. Like, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it kind of hits you later, like that. After you realize like exactly what they're doing. It's pretty amazing stuff. So back to Jack Johnson for a second. When did you meet Jack Johnson, and when did like your collaboration start? Because I know like you're part of his Brushfire Records, and you've released a lot of albums through that. So it sounds like Jack's been like a big part of what you've been doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I met Jack in '98 when we were doing our Philadelphonic record, and he was just a kid with a guitar. He was buddies with a buddy of mine from New Jersey, a surfer friend, and we went off for a surf, and then we traded songs, and he gave me his demo, and 2 days later we were in the studio cutting one of his songs called Radio Clowns, which ended up being the single on our fourth record, which he later re-recorded for his second record, On and On, and On and On, and yeah, man, like, you know, he's the same guy that he always was, just a nicest guy, an incredibly creative person, and obviously he's going on to have huge success, and you know, everything that we did to help him out when he first started, he's repaid us 1,000 times. And the last record I put out on Brushfire Records was my latest was G Love Coming Home for Christmas, which was released this past November, my Christmas record that came out on Brushfire. So, you know, we continue to, every time we see each other, the same thing. We jam, and if there's waves, we go surfing, you know, but it's still all about that music and surfing. And, yeah, it's a great family at Brushfire Records. So it's been a lot of fun to be involved with these guys. And, you know, also I'm proud too, because, you know, a lot of musicians talk about, you know, saving the world and all these positive things with their music, which is amazing. And Jack does too, but he also has raised, you know, I don't know the exact number, but probably $50 million he's put, you know, into projects for the environment around the world. So it's amazing to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think that's something that people don't really know that much about Jack Johnson, is all of his you know, charitable efforts. That's really cool.
Yeah, like he'll go on tour and donate every cent of the profit to the whole tour to different causes around the world. I mean, there's not too many people that are such huge philanthropists.
Yeah,
and it's just a testament to him and his family.
Well, especially since, you know, these days it's tougher and tougher to make money in music, you know, so to see somebody doing that is great. You know, that's commendable. I had actually heard a story about Jack Johnson, that he had said that, you know, for a while, part of his songwriting, he was trying to like squeeze in so many words before taking a breath, like trying to see. And I heard that he got that from you. Is that true?
I mean, it sounds about right. I mean, you know, it's interesting because, you know, my flow was my own take on, you know, rapping, and I know he was influenced by me and also Bob Dylan and then also hip hop too. So, I think that I remember like someone that didn't know that we were friends and stuff, when he blew up, be like, you got to hear this guy, Jack Johnson. And he played it for me in his car. And I talked like I didn't know who it was. He's like, dude, this guy's flowing. He doesn't even know it. So, yeah, Jack's actually, in a lot of his rapping, I mean, he's flowing.
Do you ever hang out with some rappers? Like, I know you've done a couple collabs in the past, but like, do you ever just bust out rhymes and start spitting? Is that a thing that you do, or you've settled in?
No, that's where it all comes from, and for sure, especially early in the day, we toured with a lot of rappers, everybody from Tribe Called Quest to Gangstar, and, you know, did shows with everybody from Run DMC to KRS-One and Cypress Hill, and a lot of people that and Farside, a lot of people that I grew up, a lot of MCs that I grew up really, you know, idolizing and stuff. Like, later I was able to share the stage with them and get to know them, and they all been really supportive. But yeah, like you know, growing up, you know, my generation was kind of the first generation of kids probably to come up on hip hop as their first passion. And so yeah, you know, when we were in high school, that was what we did. We sesh out, and you know, you always have a couple of buddies that like to rap, so you freestyle and, you know, get the cipher going, and that's kind of the spirit of a lot of the, you know, MCing that I do comes from just, you know, hanging out and going out. It's just that, you know, then I took that freestyle thing and wrote a lot. So I always tell people that are good freestylers, like, you write it, you know, because you gotta, it's great to be able to freestyle, but also take that capability and do some writing and really try to put together a song and tell a story. I think that's like when you're making a song, you're really trying to tell a story or paint a picture of some type of circumstance.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially in hip hop. I feel like hip hop's all about the narrative, and that's why you don't see covers a lot in hip hop, because it's hard to cover a song that is supposed to be, your kind of personal narrative or something, That's my theory, at least.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So you're going to be here in our area tomorrow night for this show at Janus Live, and bring actually on most of the tour. I think you have the Reese Brothers, right? They're actually a local group from the Clearwater area. For the listeners who haven't heard them, they're are they actually brothers? I think, or is it like a White Stripes thing? Okay, yeah. What brought you to bring them on tour?
We kind of know them through this extended Slightly Stoopid family, and so they're kind of great duo. They do some looping, and they're both multi-instrumentalists, and they're great kids, man. They got a great sound, so we've had them on the whole tour, and I think our crowd's really been loving them. Like, one thing we do try to do is to kind of cultivate younger up-and-coming artists with our tour, with our records. And, Jack Johnson is one of those people. Slightly Stoopid were some of those people. And there's a long list of people that kind of helped to cultivate. And it's something that we're thankful to get the opportunity to see some of these guys on the rise. So, we're just really looking forward to getting out of Janus. But actually, I was thinking about that. Like, the first time we came through Janus Live, formerly Janus Landing, was in '94. We opened up for the Violent Femmes there.
Really?
That's out when we were just kids, and that was the first time we played there. So we've been playing. This is 24 years we've been playing Janus live, and it's a really special venue to us because it's a great venue. Like, we play a lot of clubs, and Janus is cool because it's technically a club, but it's actually, because it's outside and holds a big crowd, it always feels like a really big show. It is a big show.
Yeah, it's like a mini festival,
Yeah, and the St. Pete's and Tampa Bay area, the people there have just always been just always had great crowds, and it's just a good show, So.
Well, we love to party here in the Tampa Bay area. Anyways, we're about out of time, but I just wanted to ask, what's next for G Love and the Special Sauce? Like, where, I know you haven't released an album in a little while. Is there some new stuff coming? What's going on?
Well, we our last record was a Christmas record, came out this November, and the last major release since then was Love Saves the Day, which is now a couple years old. So yeah, right now we're getting ready to. I'll probably do a bunch of writing in the break between our East Coast run here and the West Coast run in February, and then this spring I'll continue to write. And I'll make a record this year, which will come out early 2019. So really what I'm trying to do right now is go for a blues Grammy. So I kind of make a really down and dirty blues record, because that's kind of my root as a blues player. So I'm really interested in. If you look at the last couple of records like Sugar and Love Saves the Day, we really let a lot more of the blues out of the bag. So I think that type of thing, like a real good front porch blues record, and definitely try to make the blues, like, make the songs something you can sing along with. And I think with every record, you're just really trying to push yourself creatively, and also give people songs that they can connect with and relate to, that are real, that are from your life and the things we see around that we're living in, all of them.
Yeah, well, that sounds really dope. Like, the thought of you making, the call just ended. The call dropped. Do I call him back? Okay. Where does it say enabled? Oh no, now it's going to voicemail.
His phone died.
Oh, maybe that's what happened. Hold on. Yeah, his phone must have died because it's going straight to voicemail. Hey, G-Love, this is Randy from Cigar City Radio. I think we got disconnected. Sounds like maybe your phone died or something. It sucks because I wanted to hear a little bit more about that blues album. If you can call us back in the next few minutes, we're down to wrap this thing up. But if not, it was great talking to you. And, have a great show this week at Janus. Well, I guess he's not calling back.
Havana, ooh na na. Half of mine own heart is in Havana, ooh na na. A. That gent tooketh me backeth to East Atlanta, na na na. Oh, but mine own heart is in Havana, A. There's something 'bout his manners. I understand you not, Havana, ooh na na. Nice. Poetic. Yeah.